Hello, everybody. This is Kolbeinsson or R.T. Kolbeinsson. I'm the writer and director of the Bexhill Bookclub, and I'm here joined today with one of the actresses from the play or the Bexhill Bookclub itself, Jacs Campbell. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good, good. I am decent as well. On a very great day here in Mallorca, we can't always have the sun, but it's not like we complain with all this heat in the summer. Um, Kind of before we start, you are obviously playing Holly. What can you tell us about Holly's character a bit, from what you can say?
Um, Not a lot. She is a stay-at-home wife. Um, Her husband is manages to keep them into the lifestyle they're accustomed to. And she has ambitions and dreams that she's not. I think she's probably a bit scared to follow. And she has joined this book club because she does love reading, but I think also as a bit of escapism for her to get out of what she sometimes feels is a quite dull life. And she meets these other three lovely ladies who are completely different to her. And that's probably all I can say at the moment for
Yeah,
those that are going to
absolutely.
come and see it.
Yeah, exactly. What was your sort of overall process approaching the character kind of throughout the entire thing?
Well, my approach, I always, from every time I read a play, I take something different from it. And I would say that my first few readings, I had certain ideas about Holly, which quite completely changed by the end of the process. Um, it's yeah. On the first reading, she was very one layered. I thought, oh, she's just being like this or like this. But as I got into it, and as we through rehearsal and through just rereading and really trying to give a backstory to her, she became a lot more layered, which makes sense because that's the human being. We are multi-layered, multifaceted. So yeah, it was sort of slow, but that's what I gained from every time I read it. I pick up on something that I hadn't caught before. So it's just adding layers to the character.
Brilliant. I would have to say yes. I mean, from exactly what we can say about Holly in general is that she is very much multi-layered as well. And I think that she's probably the character that most people will gravitate towards because she is someone that has her dreams and aspirations and trying to explore them and experience them. That is a challenge, and you can often feel very afraid, particularly with books and all this type of stuff where they are sort of a vessel of expression. Speaking of books, and this being a book club, I want to get to know kind of if there's any literature out there that you've resonated with as of recent that you can kind of tell us a bit about.
Well, the one that springs to mind that the one I remember the name of, I remember years ago I'd heard a lot about Ken Follett's The Pillars of the Earth, and so many people had spoken about it, and I was like, oh, okay. And at first I looked at it, I was like, that's a very big book. And but from literally page one, I just remember because I always read to fall asleep. And normally I read only a couple of pages. I'm falling asleep, but I was like, please don't fall asleep. Please don't
Yeah.
fall asleep. I need to know what happens. It was so incredibly like you just sucked in from the
Hmm.
very beginning. Um, Probably the fastest I've read any book. So that one springs to mind. I loved, I mean, the historical sort of facets of it and set in the sort of medieval times. Because that can be quite in other things I've read or seen from plays or TV film, it can be quite, I don't know if dull is the right word, but the description and that Ken Follett uses in the book is just so, it was just engrossing. You felt like you were really there, which not every book can do. Um, Other than that, I love a biography. I love a biography
Hmm.
about different people. I've read so many, I can't actually think of well, the most recent one I read actually was Tim Peake, the English astronaut, British
Oh,
astronaut, because I love stuff about space, love things about space. And that was really interesting because it's a subject I'm really interested in.
yeah.
But yeah, as for other books, oh God, so many. Thousand Splendid Suns, that was another incredible book.
Mm,
Um, yeah, there's many,
plenty.
many, many.
What is it then about biographies then? Because I think I've dabbled in something way back when. By the way, like in terms of sleeping, going to sleep by reading by going for reading and then going to sleep because of it is something that I struggle with too. I always intend to write. I'm gonna cozy up to a book and have a good time, but then I also end up just feeling very drowsy and
Yeah, yeah.
beat the entire purpose of reading a book. But what is it about biographies in general that interest you, with it not being
Well,
sort of fictional?
I think because it's all it's it's people, it's it's a human story. Um, I because a lot of these biographies are of people that from like the celebrity world, or and the people you've heard of, and you only see what media portrays of them. You don't necessarily see whatever struggles they had to get where they've their achievements where they are. And so I think it's the human story. It's just understanding what it is that drove them to the success, or things that hindered them. It's just because I mean that's for me, that's what I love about acting. It's about humans. It's the study of humans. It's the study of people, and understanding what makes them who they are. And I think that's why I do love a biography, because and people, even sort of the most, no, what's the word? Like people that you think wouldn't have necessarily, they just seem like an ordinary human being, can have the most incredible life story. I mean, I've met people, in real life, that once you get to know them and you hear some of the crazy stuff they've been up to, or just their life is just fascinating. I find people fascinating. Everybody has some kind of story that you would never expect from
Yeah,
from first meeting them.
I think that's a
Um,
really good point because it's something that I, as a writer, resonate with as well. It's
mm,
incredible when you start to talk to people that, yeah, seem very normal, but then have within them such stories to tell.
yeah.
That's really good. Uh, Something that you may or may not be able to fully answer, but if there were to be a biography about Holly, what would people see that might be within the play or outside of it, that what sort of a person would that paint?
Ooh, well, I think it would actually paint a person that many, many, not just women, but certainly many women could completely relate to. I know women like her. There's part of her in me for sure. I think she's incredibly relatable. Once you get to know her, very normal, everyday woman. But like all normal everyday women, there are there are those the secrets, there are aspirations, there are parts of her that she doesn't show everybody, probably doesn't show anyone. And I think, certainly speaking as a woman, I think a lot of women are like that. I think a lot of women would be like, yep, that's me. Yep, that's
Mm.
me. Yep, I do that. That's how, yep.
I think
I think
that's
they,
Yeah, I think that's great. Because I think this is also the reason why I wrote the play, because I've been writing a lot of female kind of centric characters as of late, and I think it's because they're just so much more nuanced a lot of the time than men. They have different sides to themselves, different facets, and have such contradicting thoughts and images of oneself that just create such good conflict and therefore good drama. And I think
yeah.
that hits that exactly. And I think Holly is a really good kind of character for that. Finally, though, in terms of people going to see the play, what can people expect from the play, and what could they draw from it?
I think I think they can expect some drama, um, and some fun. I think they can expect to maybe have some of their perceptions of certain topics questioned. Maybe for some it would answer. Certainly, I think it's thought provoking for a lot of people, or for some people. But most of all, I think they can expect a really good night out.
Brilliant. Yes, exactly. A really good night out, which will be happening on the 11th, the 12th, and the 15th of September. That's coming up real soon. We hope to see you there for those that missed our show in July. But that's basically it for me and from Jacs Campbell. Thank you very much for coming today and answering my questions.
No
Yeah,
problem.
thank you.
Thank
Cheers.
you very much for having me.